Alright everybody, welcome back to another video, and today I want to talk about Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Dawn of Ragnarok. Now, I'm going to give my review of the whole expansion and if it's really worth it for the $40. I'm going to start off by saying no, it's not. It's not worth the 40 bucks. There's not enough content. Now, I find the content it's good. It's good, except for all the bugs and glitches and problems some people are having. Personally, I don't have any of those problems. Nothing was unplayable, nothing was uncollectible or finishable. Uh, None of my data got deleted or anything like that. But I have heard that some people are having problems. Oh, Assassin's Creed Valhalla having problems because that's a surprise, right? But I've heard that some people have had some problems. I don't know how widespread it is, but even if there were no problems and this expansion worked perfectly, as it almost has in my case, like I said, I've had no personal problems, I would still say it's not worth the 40 bucks. Now, this is the full map, right? Okay, it's a decent sized map. Okay, you're saying. And if you played Assassin's Creed Valhalla, or I guess any of the Assassin's Creed, there's collectibles. You have the opals on the ground, or you go different areas, find treasures. Beat bases and stuff like that. And they have that in the expansion. I don't know how long it took me to do everything, but they have that. There's just not enough. Like, okay, for instance, I play the expansion, and how I normally do things is I try to explore everywhere and do like all the extra content on the entire map or at least an area before I go, and I try to do the story missions. It unlocks the fast travel spots and everything else, or I just get the gear and I can use it and try out the weapons and all that. That was the majority of my time. I probably spent, taking breaks here or there, 10, 15 hours, getting all the collectibles, uncovering the whole map and everything, right? Which, again, not very exciting. It's the same old thing. You're not getting anything interesting. The only thing that made it interesting with the story and doing all the extra content is the powers, which I will touch on in a second. But yeah, so I did the collectibles and then I went and did the story. Now, to be fair, I find the story interesting. I like the story behind the expansion here and the uh, all the mystical adventures that the game has in its base version, but it's not enough content. Like, I find it all interesting, right? I actually think that the mythical content in this game, expansion and all, is more interesting than the game's actual story, right? I don't think Assassin's Creed Valhalla's story is great by any means, and I think that extra content on the side is better. Now, like I said, this wasn't that long. Like I said, I spent maybe 10, 15 hours between taking breaks and doing powers and everything else, learning the abilities and everything, getting everything. And then I went and did the story. And I think that took me I breezed through that, probably less than 3 hours. Granted, I'm a max level character. My weapons are all max, so, I was going through enemies and bosses quickly. So to be fair, the average player is probably, going to take 5, 6 hours. But if it takes you more than 6 hours to go through this story, if you just load this up, right? You pay your 40 bucks, you load this up, right? Not everyone goes around collecting everything. You just go through the story, right? If it takes you more than 6 hours, I don't know what to tell you. But even if it took you 10, is 10 hours worth your 40 bucks? In my opinion, no. Like I said, I thought the story was good, but it's not great. It's not super amazing. And then you add all the problems some people are having, and no, it's not worth your 40 bucks. They do not make this worth the 40 bucks, and neither is the armor you get for pre-ordering it isn't great or special. None of the weapons in this are special. You know what I mean? There are some unique things, right? But there's no armor or weapon that are unique. The most unique thing is, if you've seen online, you can find a random wooden stick, and we don't know what that goes to, what puzzle or mystery behind that. But you know, eh, besides that, there's nothing completely interesting with the weapons or armors. Like I said, the most interesting thing out of this whole thing is the powers, right? You can get the power of the Raven. You know, you can fly around. That's super cool. That's fun. But besides doing, I think one or two story related things or side activities, solving the mysteries, you don't use that. You're not forced to use that, but it's cool to use. It makes it easier to travel between points. Uh, the power of the Jotun, you freeze your enemies and stuff like that, or all the other powers, you can walk on lava and everything else. It's all cool. It all works, and they put into the story level like you have to use this power here to get past this. But honestly, it's just not that great. It's like I keep saying, it's not worth the $40. It's one way to get. It's just not worth the $40. And that's coming from me. I'm someone who's like, I haven't put any money in the game besides buying that game itself and then buying this expansion. But I bought just what is it called, the Steelbook edition. So like I did it, I get the season pass and everything. I didn't know back when I bought it that when it first came out that it was going to be as bad and glitchy as it is. Uh, but I love the Assassin's Creed franchise, and I don't want to put money into it to get the store items because they're not great. But uh, I mean that's kind of I find that I buy not everyone's gonna buy anything above the base uh, edition, or they're not gonna buy it at regular price. They're going for a sale, or they're not gonna want to spend another $40, and I wouldn't recommend it. You know, if you have the money to spend, you know, if you have the money to spend, right, go ahead do it, I guess. But if you're worried about potential problems with the game, I would say maybe wait until you can get it for cheaper on sale. I'm sure eventually it will go on sale. Wait until you get it for 30 or $20, something like that. I would recommend because you're not missing much. It doesn't. It honestly, with the ending of this, it in a way kind of wraps up all the other mystical content, but it feels like they tried to leave it in a way where they were going to do more or want to do more. And God forbid, no, because I would not pay another $40 to play something. Well, I probably would just to review it or do gameplay for YouTube, but if it wasn't for that aspect, no, it's not worth your money. It's not worth anybody's money. And I don't know if it comes across that I sound a little frustrated, but besides the problem with this expansion, besides the fact that they want $40 for something that's not worth it in any aspect of any kind of content, the story or extra content, all of that, weapons aren't any worth it in no aspect of that. They can't, again, the Ubisoft challenges, if you do those, aren't working right now. We're working for some people, but not everybody. And, we go a couple of weeks, it works, or kind of doesn't work, or doesn't work at all. But they can't get their stuff together over at Ubisoft. And again, I'm someone, I'm not a Ubisoft fanboy, but I like Assassin's Creed. I like a few of the other franchises. But they keep messing up on everything with this game. It is very disappointing. And this expansion is very disappointing. I like to think of myself as someone who's easily pleased. It doesn't take a lot to make me happy. And this was not satisfying. So, yeah. The story is okay. The powers are fun. It's just not enough there. And it's not enough worth. I wouldn't pay. If I had to put a price tag on this expansion, I wouldn't want to pay anything. But I wouldn't pay over $10. Honestly, this feels like a $10 expansion because I've paid 10, 15, whatever amount of money in other games and gotten more. And that's a shame. So, because especially in these, we're supposed to uh, slightly open world RPG like Assassin's Creed games. There should be more emphasis on content, and there's not. So, I wouldn't spend your money unless you're a diehard fan of this game. But besides that, I don't think it's satisfying to anybody. Unless you just like wasting your money, then I guess have a go at it. But that's my take on the expansion. If you have the expansion, let me know down in the comments how you feel about it. Did you think it was worth the $40? Did you enjoy it? Was the story long enough for you? Was the extra content enough to get you engaged? Let me all know all that down in the comments. And if you like the video, like it. I know this was more of a negative take on it, but honestly, Ubisoft needs it. They need the negative review and look on it right now because they're not doing good on this. They're making a lot of mistakes on a lot of things, but Valhalla right now, bad. Been bad since the start, and it's not getting better. And they just keep adding more and more content that keeps messing up. Or they add content, and that doesn't necessarily mess up, but it messes up the game in another aspect. I don't want to do it no more, and other people don't want to do it no more. It's getting ridiculous. So, I'll talk to you guys next time, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye.